When my husband bought his son a new console after I sold the old one to pay for cleaning the mess he made, I knew things had gone too far. I met Damien and felt an instant spark, like everything I'd hoped for was finally real. He seemed perfect, the man I dreamed about since I was a teenager. But there was one problem I couldn't ignore: his stepson, Trevor. Trevor wasn't just a problem. He was a full-grown adult acting like a spoiled child. At 22, he lived with Damien, unemployed, with zero plans for his future. One Saturday, I spent hours making homemade pizzas for the three of us, 3 pizzas each. Exhausted, I asked Damien and Trevor to help clean up. Damien agreed right away. Trevor, not so much. When I checked on them, Trevor was sprawled on the couch, puffing on an e-cigarette. I asked why he wasn't helping. His reaction? A childish stomp and a flat, "Don't tell me what to do." Damien stepped in and told me, "You're my wife, not his mom. Don't make this happen again." That was just the start of Trevor's entitled attitude, and Damien's unwillingness to hold him accountable. Fast forward 2 years, and Trevor's behavior only got worse. I finally confronted Damien about it, only to be met with dismissal. He's an adult. If you don't like it, ignore him. And worse, you always have something to complain about. The tension between us grew, made worse by a miscarriage I suffered that Damien and Trevor seemed to barely acknowledge. 2 weeks ago, after a double shift at work, I walked into an intervention they'd staged, accusing me of not pulling my weight and putting stress on Trevor. Trevor even had the nerve to say he didn't have to earn basic necessities, like a newborn baby doesn't have to pay to be fed. I was furious, and Damien did nothing but nod along. I left that night for a walk to cool down. After that, Damien and I became more like roommates than partners. Yesterday Trevor was out, so I took the chance to deep clean the house. I dusted, polished, vacuumed, even cleaned windows. I felt amazing, like a weight was lifted. But that morning I woke up to a stench like rot filling the house. Laundry was strewn everywhere, food spilled all over the floors, and the smell was unbearable. Damien admitted he'd trashed the place after drinking too much. When I went to check Trevor's room, I found the smell of marijuana overwhelming. Without saying a word, I took the gaming console, the one I'd helped pay for, and sold it to pay for professional cleaners to fix the mess. Trevor smirked when he woke to the sound of cleaners vacuuming his room, thinking he'd won, but his attitude changed when he learned what paid for it. When he demanded to know where his console was, I calmly told him I sold it, to pay for cleaning his mess. He lost it, called Damien, who stormed in demanding answers. I explained everything calmly, but Damien was furious with me for going behind his back. After years of walking on eggshells, I finally said I needed space and left to stay with my sister for a few days. Trevor's texts ranged from angry to bizarre, accusing me of trying to sabotage his relationship with Damien. When Damien showed up with a staged apology and promises of change, I insisted on a contract. Trevor would apply for jobs weekly, contribute to chores, and Damien wouldn't undermine me. For a short time, things seemed to improve. But just days later, I came home to find Trevor and his friends gaming on a brand new PlayStation, even nicer than the one I'd sold. Trevor smirked, telling me Damien had bought it to replace the one I took. That night, Damien and I argued, the same fight we'd had countless times, but this time I stood my ground. I told him to either treat Trevor like an adult or I was done. Damien said, "You're asking me to choose between my son and my wife." I replied, "No, I'm asking you to parent your son, so you don't lose your wife." The next morning, Damien left early and I found Trevor filling out job applications at the kitchen table. Finally. But then I found hidden cameras in our bedroom and bathroom, disguised as everyday objects. When I confronted Damien, he was confused, unwilling to believe Trevor would do something so invasive. Then I overheard Trevor on the phone bragging about how he manipulated us both. Damien finally faced the truth and confronted Trevor. Trevor cried, claimed he was protecting Damien from me. Damien didn't buy it. He gave Trevor 30 days to find a job and move out. Trevor was furious but had nowhere to go. Damien started acting like a real parent, helping with resumes, clothes, and interviews. Trevor got a warehouse job, but I felt uneasy. Soon, I overheard Trevor plotting, saying he'd make me leave, that he had dirt on me. I searched his room and found flash drives filled with months of secretly recorded footage, even doctored clips trying to make me look bad. I showed Damien everything. When Damien saw the truth, he apologized for not believing me sooner. Together, we confronted Trevor with the evidence. His fake tears vanished as he realized he'd lost control. That night, Trevor left with his uncle. For the first time in years, I felt hopeful. Damien stared at the officers, disbelief written all over his face. "That's impossible. She wouldn't do that." I remained silent, my heart pounding in my chest. The officers politely asked to see me and Damien in the living room to discuss the situation. "Trevor alleges you physically assaulted him last night before he left. one of the officers explained, watching me carefully. Do you have anything to say? I took a deep breath. I did not assault him. Trevor left on his own, and I was not even in the same room when he packed up his things. If anything, I've been the one hurt in this situation. Damien nodded in agreement. He's trying to turn this around. We have proof of his manipulations. Cameras, edited videos, and his threats. The officers exchanged glances. We'll have to investigate these claims thoroughly, one said. In the meantime, we advise you both to keep the peace. After they left, Damien and I sat in stunned silence. The weight of the accusation hit me hard. This was Trevor's final play, and it was ruthless. Over the next few days, the tension in the house was unbearable. Damien distanced himself, torn between disbelief and anger. I could see the doubt creeping in, but I refused to let it shake my resolve. I contacted a lawyer and showed her the evidence I had gathered. The footage, the flash drives, the edited clips. She assured me that with this evidence, the false allegations would likely be dismissed, but it was going to be a legal battle. Damien finally admitted he felt betrayed by both of us. I don't know who to believe anymore, he confessed. I just want this nightmare to end. I took his hands. We're stronger than this. We just need to stick together. Together, we started couples counseling and brought in a mediator to help address the toxic dynamic with Trevor. It wasn't easy. Old wounds reopened and trust had to be rebuilt brick by brick. Meanwhile, Trevor was forced to stay with his uncle. Every attempt at contact ended with hostile messages and veiled threats. But with Damien's firm boundary, Trevor's control over our lives began to wane. Months passed. Slowly, the house began to feel like a home again. Damien and I grew closer, united by the ordeal rather than divided by it. One evening, Damien came home with a small box. Inside was a new gaming console. Not for Trevor, but for us to enjoy together. No more Xbox wars, he joked. Just new memories. I smiled, feeling hope blossom for the first time in a long while.